Yes, indeed, guys. Hey, we on for another show, man. We finna bring this thing like no other. This is the real talk round table. We gonna get things going one way or another. Hey, I'm talking about football knowledge. There's gonna be a lot in the house today. Look, I got AKOYE. If you guys don't know who he is, AKOYE, go ahead and introduce yourself, fam.
And the one and only AKOYE Media, man. Enjoying the ride out here. If you guys ever watch my page, that's AKOYE Media, and that stands for Accumulated Knowledge Over Years of Experience. And what I generally do is just break down film of any player associated or affiliated with the Dallas Cowboys thus far.
That's some deep stuff, man. Just the name itself, man. You just took me out the. Hey, now I got somebody that you guys may already be aware of, know of, and this sort of thing. But I'm gonna let him talk. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Go ahead.
And we back. Voch Lombardi, Gaston Glock, John Wick. What's happening, man? Holding down for the Dosky, Welsky, Peasky, Whiskey, VOCHLOMBARDI on Twitter. Come holler at me. I'm making fun of the peanut gallery and all they dumb decisions. What's happening, Law? Okoye, nice to meet you. What's happening, brother?
Good. Nice.
Man. We got pick number 19. And we're going to start this thing off just like this. Either one of you guys can take the floor. Who y'all want?
What you think about Minka Fitzpatrick, like trading up to go get Minka Fitzpatrick? Let me just put that on the table because I remember when the draft process first kind of kicked off. People have their favorites, and Minka was like up in that 1, 2, 3 range, and Voch Lombardi was like, it's probably not gonna work out like that. It's a quarterback heavy draft. Saquon gonna be up there, Quinn gonna be up there, Bradley gonna be up there, and a lot of guys gonna get pushed down to us. And we see as the process goes along. Vita Vea, I don't think he gonna be there, but he might. Roquan might. Just we have more options now that we can look at that we possibly didn't think of at first. But now in the Cowboys community, we got that draft up type of conversation that we could possibly have. So I'm bringing this to the table for y'all because I've been doing mock drafts today, and I just kept seeing this constant pattern of Minka Fitzpatrick up in the 9, 10, 11 range. From 19 to us, what y'all think about moving up to like 9, 10, 11? Because everybody want to go get Derwin. I don't necessarily say Derwin because we don't really need strong safeties. We got 5 guys that can play strong safety. We need more of a free safety type of guy. Now, Voch Lombardi is a fan of staying at 19, drafting Will Hernandez. So we can get our identity back, get our nasty back, get our swag back, get our imposing will back. But if a guy like Minka Fitzpatrick, who can play corner free and strong safety, falls to like 10 or 11 and 12, all y'all draft up fans, what y'all think about that?
Man, I can't even go, man. Minka at number 19. Oh, you talking about us just moving up to get him, right?
Just moving up. No. He ain't gonna be at 19.
I mean, what would we be doing to even pull that off? Like, you got to think about the things that would have to take place behind the scenes to even make that a possibility. You know what I mean? Like, we would have to get in the top 10 somehow to grab a Minka, in my opinion.
I think everybody is sort of quasi fan of moving up for Derwin or Roquan. I think Minka's going to be definitely in that little range right there. I think he may fall to 10, 11, or 12. And look, 19 to 12 is way better than 19 to a top 5 pick. Right. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I mean, shucks, man. I think if he get there, shoot the shot because I think we're one free safety away from our corners playing better too. You know what I mean? Like it's more of a big picture deal to me. Every time we see Jeff Heath at free safety, we see Anthony Brown getting beat, and then Jeff going, damn, I missed it. You see what I mean? So, we can upgrade there. It's just a possibility that I haven't seen anybody really talking about since everybody want to be trade up fan.
Okay, so that's some brilliant stuff, man. Yeah. Okoye, since you already know the in-depth knowledge of the roster, break this down for me, Dan. Break down the DBs. Break down like who's going to be the starting right, who's going to be the starting left,
right?
Who they going to put in the slot or nickel, whatever you want to call it, and who's going to play the free and who's going to play the strong. Who do you think?
I think if you look at like just from and I know it's going to make a lot of people's eyebrows raise up a little bit. But if you look at just versatility, right? From a versatility standpoint, you have either Cheeto or Byron Jones they're gonna be our number 1 right corner, in my opinion. Just for the fact that if you look at our division, and it's all about winning your division, You have Alshon Jeffrey. You have Brandon Marshall and Odell. You know what I mean? And then you have Dotson over in Washington. So we have big receivers in our division. And I think the two players that best suit up against those types of receivers are Byron Jones and Cheeto. Cheeto's versatile from a blitzing standpoint, though. So honestly, I'm one that likes Cheeto in the slot more so than Jordan Lewis. I like Jordan on your speedy receivers, so I will put him on my left side. And I like Cheeto from the slot just for the fact that he can blitz. You really don't know what he's doing. If you watch his college tape, he's just as good versus the run, just as good in the blitz or playing man up and zone. He's probably our most well-rounded corner on the team because he can do everything. He can blitz, he can play the run, and having him closer to the ball is our strong suit. I think that's better for us. So I would have Byron in our nickel package, Byron on the outside, Cheeto in the slot, Jordan, on the left. And then from a base package formation standpoint, I think Cheeto and Byron are even Byron and Lewis. I really don't care how you do it there, and roll Cheeto up to the free safety spot in the base formation. When you go into nickel, pull Cheeto down into the slot, and then you replace him with either a Woods or a Frazier at that free safety position. But I think in our base to have our best defensive backs on the team, on the field at the same time, you would go with a Byron, Lewis, Cheeto, and Heath at the same time on that field. And that way Heath will play that single high position, and Cheeto, it allows us to play the run and the pass effectively because you don't have to add an extra defensive back on the field to cover three receivers out of our base formation. All three of those guys can man up, no problem. And have, then you have Heath roaming the field, single high, and we still have three linebackers on the field at the same time. So you can't run against that formation. Mm-hmm. You can't easily pass against that formation either. And it makes it so that we don't have to keep switching packages. Because when you listen to Barry Church, when he talks about what the biggest difference in being in Jacksonville was this year versus Dallas, he says the fact that you get to stay on the field and sort of immerse yourself into the game. You're not constantly rotating. And if you notice, we use so many looks and so many packages, we're not confusing anybody at the end of the day. So if we allow our guys to just play, and if we want our guys to just play, our best defensive backs to play, I think that's the package that you go with in the base. And then from the nickel, as I said, you bring Cheeto down into the slot. But
so with that philosophy, if you bring in and sprinkle in a Minka Fitzpatrick,
I really don't like
depths. I don't know whether or not what he would do.
I like Minka Fitzpatrick, but I think he brings more confusion to our secondary than anything else because he's a guy that can convey for anyone's position. He can play anybody's position on the field. He can take Byron's spot. He can take a Cheeto spot.
That's what's so dope, though.
But that would be like a log jam at defensive back. I think our three defensive backs that we drafted last year are solid. So for us to jump or make any other moves, crazy moves to go after another DB would be a waste for our team. Not saying that he might be the best player available in at 19 if he's there. Of course, you take him at 19 if he's there. But to move people around and trade players or trade anything to go after a player like that with what we already have, I think would be reaching.
Let me ask y'all this then. So with that being said, are both of you guys sold? I'm talking about sold. I ain't talking about halfway, 1 foot in, 1 foot out on Jeff Heath and Kevon. Let me know. Are you guys sold on those two?
I'm sold when it comes to our corners. With the corners that we have on the field, both those guys, Jeff Heath is good roaming the field deep. I don't like him in the box. I don't like him down low. And then Frazier's good when he has no coverage responsibility other than, hash mark to hash mark, 10 to 15 yards off the ball, sort of like Cam Chancellor. So if you can create a defensive scheme that allows Frazier to do that, it would only be if you have corners that can man up, and we do. So with our corners, I'm not afraid of any safety rotation that we have out there. Other than Woods, I think Woods is a guy that only can play what's in front of him. He's not good with anything deep from what I've seen on film so far, and I've been watching.
Well, let me ask you this though, since you said that, Seattle plays it, and I don't know what Cam would look like in a cover 2. All I know is Cam, you can disguise, you can help your safety out in the cover 3.
Right.
So, and I don't know the philosophy of what Chris is going to do out there. We talking about Richards. So if you try to say that, okay, somehow, some way, Frazier is going to develop a rangy
He doesn't have
type
the
of.
game.
He doesn't have it, right? So it's going to be one of those
We,
things.
we never allow him to even be exposed in that way anyway. We don't run a true cover 2 here, like or a true Tampa 2, should I say? Tampa 2 is, we're really playing cover 2 and is mostly zone, soft zone or press zone, sort of like a Nnamdi Asomugha style defense, a defense that's suited for those type of corners, or Asante Samuels type corners where they're reading everything with their eyes, like Cheeto does. Cheeto's good at that. But he's the only corner on our team that's a true Tampa 2 corner. The rest of them are all man guys. So at the end of the day, even Brown is better at man than anything else. We don't really have guys that can play zone that well or that reroutes receivers other than impress man. Because when we play soft zone, and the game that you guys can go to if you think I'm wrong is the game against the Chargers. We play soft zone because they play a lot of horizontal routes. We play soft zone most of that game. Just let them catch and rally to the ball, and they Keenan Allen killed us.
Well, to be honest to you, man, just talking about Brown, I'm talking about Anthony Brown. To me personally, I think he's better inside. I think he's a better inside the slot.
Yeah, exactly, because he's the type of guy that he has recovery speed, but he doesn't read plays very well. But when he's lined up on your third option out of that slot or second option, he has enough time to get back on those double moves that he misses on. When he's lined up as your number 1 corner against your number 1 receiver, where that's the first read, if he's beat, he's beat. He don't have that. He got enough speed to catch you up. But if you get him right off the line, he's done. He ain't got that acceleration to turn around and react to that way. And that's the way he plays. So in the slot, it allows him to range, free reign a little bit, roam a little bit, and he can recover a little bit better because he's not the first read. He's not covering the first read.
Yes, indeed. Voch, man, what's your thoughts, man?
I share the same idea in that we're good at corner, and some people want to throw Jordan Lewis in the slot because he's small, but he actually plays big. He actually plays longer than that. You know what I mean? And he's actually more physical than he gets credit for. So I'm cool with him out there. I'm cool with Byron man covering anybody because he's more of as long as I see you, you're good. But you put the whole field in front of him. That's when he gets to thinking too much, issues, things like that. Yeah. However, I ain't trying to have Jeff Heath on the field no more.
That's my pet cat, man. Leave Jeff Heath alone, man.
Let me say something about Jeff Heath, though, for all the Jeff Heath fans, man. That boy clutch. That's what's up. That's why you want him, though, right? If I can only start him on like 2-minute drills, then let's put Jeff Heath in there. But as far as like just the whole game playing free safety, man, I would love to upgrade free safety. Xavier Woods can't play free safety, but I like him closer to the line of scrimmage. Let him chase and tackle people, man. Yeah. But if we had to draft a guy, I mean Jesse Bates got some range. Deshaun Golston got some range, you know what I mean? But it's not really a nasty Malik Hooker type free safety that I want in this draft, unless it's a guy like Minka that can play free. But like my man was saying, he could come in and take anybody's spot.
Right.
And that's why that's sort of what I think is dope about him, because Cheeto can move around. Byron can move around. So I think if we just settle these guys at one spot, and if somebody gets hurt, Cheeto did lay down and go out a little bit last year. You know what I mean? We can move guys around to fit accordingly. You know what I mean? I don't too much like position flex with all the positions. You know what I mean? Because
what do you think about this though, Voch? Check this out. And you might think I'm crazy because he's a 6th-round draft pick. But Woods is that guy already. Now, I'm not saying he's better than a Minka, but his versatility is that. Like, he can play the slot. I wouldn't put him outside ever. But he's that guy. If any of those 3 goes down, he showed that he can cover in the nickel package effectively. He can play either safety spot effectively. Not great. He's not great at any of those things, but he can do it well enough where I think he's that guy where that's the depth that we need at either corner or safety. And if there's a guy that we go after, I think what we really need is not another flexible guy. We need an enforcer. Like, that's why I like guys like Ronnie Harrison. If he's there, not at 19, I like him as a 2nd-round guy, but if he's there, Ronnie Harrison out of Alabama, he plays just like Cam. He's a guy that'll come down and smack you in the mouth. So if you want another guy that can cover a little bit better than a Frazier, but can still lay some boom, I think that's a guy that we go after.
And that's really my whole thing about this draft. Really, like, there's a lot of strong safeties, but we got a lot of strong safeties, really, kind of sort. We got 5 guys that can't play it. And in this draft, there's a lot of guys that come up and they tackle and they hit, but they're suspect with the whole range deal in, covering smaller guys and all that type of stuff. So yeah, we could get a guy like Rodney Harrison, but I don't think that upgrades us too much. You know what I mean? But it just depends on what we can get our hands on. Derwin, like I said, Derwin can play free, but he's probably gonna play strong. He's gonna play in the box.
The hole in our defense, I mean, well, let's face it. I mean, I did a video on Joe Thomas, but that's still a gaping hole on our defense is that middle linebacker. We have guys that can play that cover 2 outside linebacker or Sam linebacker position in Lee and in Smith. They both can play the outside. I don't like Smith or Lee inside. And Joe Thomas is another cover. He's a true cover 2 linebacker. He's not an aggressive guy. He's a guy like sort of like a young Durant. He's cool against the run, but he's not a guy that you really notice. He's not a thumper, like Hitchens was. We need a guy that can just disrupt. And I know last time we spoke, we mentioned Rolando McClain. Like we need a guy that just it's like a black hole in the middle of the field. He just sucks up space. And nobody wants to get in there and deal with them.
Let me interject with this, Dan. Since we play so much nickel, since we have so much two linebackers out there, for those who don't know. So, I mean, would you really invest in a pick with the first or the second round? Or would you say, okay, let's hope to the high heavens in the third and fourth we can get a Shaquem Griffin or somebody like that to fill in that void?
You already know, man. Shaquem is I would pick him in the second round if I could. As far as talent is concerned, I know he has the debilitating injury, or not injury, but it was actually an injury, but disability. He's handy capable. I don't like to, I don't know what the proper political correct terminology uses, but I love the kid, man. Everything that he does on film and everything that he shows on the field to me is hand over fist better than a lot of these guys that we're mentioning, like your Raekwons. Your Von Etch, what's the kid out of Alabama?
Sean Evans.
Evans is tight in the hips. He's a guy that can come down and he's a one direction type linebacker. He's not a cover guy, but he's a guy that he'll take on your blocks and he will be a black hole in the middle of the field. But versatility and speed and just those flash plays. When I watch film, that's Griffith, man. He's a guy you could put him on the outside and, he gained 10, 15 pounds. He's a Von Miller. You put him inside.
Oh, boy, don't tell me that. Ooh.
He got moves on top of moves, man.
I have yet, I promise you guys, I have yet to even look at his film. So I'm sitting there like, I'm not even going to look at his
film. Stop. Go straight to the Auburn game. Don't watch nothing else but the Auburn game. He chased everybody's ass. He tackled everybody. He covered all the tight ends. And at the end of the game, when they was clearly up and they had to pass, he rushed them and he got sacks and he terrorized them. Shaquem Griffin is an animal.
He's a beast. You could put him at DN, he can play. You could put him at outside linebacker, he can play. You could put him as a Roy Williams box safety, he can play.
5 fingers and all.
Yeah, he could play anywhere, man. Anywhere you want him, he got you, man. So anywhere in that 10 to 15 yard radius, he can play. His versatility is second to probably only Minka and then a Derwin James. I even like him better than Derwin out there.
Oh my God!
I really do.
So even with that, man, it's cover 2 scheme. It's a cover 2 scheme, right? So if you're going to really put in a Shaquem, who you going to take off the field when they go in the nickel package? How's it going to go?
Definitely Smith.
Jalen, yeah.
Smith is Jalen is I think a healthy Jalen is a little bit different. He has enough straight line speed to cover someone, but as far as just natural cover instincts, Shaquem has better cover instincts just because of his agility. He can get in and out of breaks a lot quicker. And then you got to leave Lee out there because he just got like 4 leaf clover shoved up his, you know what I mean? But because he just always around the ball, you know what I'm saying? But as far as taking him off the field, that's what I would take off. I would take Smith off. Unless he shows something in camp that proves me wrong. I would say right now as it stands from what we've seen of Smith.
But I really think
Voch, is that the 2017 Auburn game, or you want me to look a little bit further, the 2016?
the last game he played, the bowl game. That's everything you need to know. As far as Jalen Smith, I think it all depends on what you think about Jalen Smith. I think he was able to do good things 1 year early. This is supposed to be the year that he really shows it. You know what I mean? But it's two kinds of people. It's people from Missouri. You got to show me first, and I'm kind of an optimist when it comes to Jalen. You know, like he's 100%, air quote, 100% healthy now. So coming out in the draft, you know what I mean? I thought highly of Jalen, and if we can get shades of that guy, I don't think we need a Mike linebacker. However, I mean, we can draft a guy, or we can play nickel. Hell, we can leave Jalen and Sean in there, and Byron be that nickel type of in the box type of tackle guy.
Think about that. You just brought up something real interesting, because you keep talking about nickel law and what you just said. Like, you got in our nickel package, think about what you have on the field. If you have a Cheeto in the slot closer to the ball, you have Byron down at corner closer to the ball. So inside our out runs, Byron is serviceable as a safety. He's not a come up and pop guy. But he was, PFF did rank him the number 4 safety in the league due to the fact that he does drive. He can get down there quick, so he flashes down, and he's not the type of guy that's going to, miss on assignments. So when you have those two guys out there, and then, even if he leaves Smith and Lee out there, our nickel package with Cheeto in the slot is serviceable without having to pull an extra linebacker out there, especially if you pull Cheeto down and you leave Frazier as the strong safety. If Frazier's in the box, Cheeto's down in the slot, like, that's a hard front to run against, even though those guys are a little smaller. They're slashers. They'll beat your blockers across the face. They don't have to take them on head up. They can get down in there quick.
I mean, and I'm going to tell you guys, the only reason why we're talking about more nickel, and you did break that down pretty good, the reason why is most teams are pass happy. The nickel kind of pretty much I guess counter attack that approach, right? But pretty much the teams that we lost against last year, because they were able to run on us through that package, and we had to worry about putting in an extra guy down in the box. What was it? The Denver Broncos, I think they ran on us pretty well, and Green Bay, some guy named Jones, he ran down.
Almost killed us. Yeah. Then the Chargers actually ran pretty well.
Yeah, they did.
Have the Rams. I think Gurley had a career day against us.
Wasn't he catching the ball out of the backfield and running because the lead was out?
Oh, he did everything against us, man. I think he had 192 all-purpose yards.
So how could we stop that, by the guys that you just talked about, or what we need to do with this front four?
Well, I think the one that we just mentioned, if you're going to say how do we stop the run, it will be with Lee being healthy. Now, that's a coin toss. We don't know if he'll stay healthy. But most of those games where we were getting killed against the run were games where Lee wasn't playing. Atlanta, he got hurt in the Atlanta game. They ran pretty well against us. Green Bay, he wasn't playing. He wasn't there. Against the Chargers, he wasn't playing. You know what I mean? So against the Rams, I don't think he played there either. So the games where we got gashed against the run were games where Lee wasn't on the field. So I think keeping Lee on the field, we already have the answer to the run out of the nickel with Lee being there, because he's a skier. You can't really, even though you have bigger bodies on the field against that nickel, if you try to come up with some big run fronts, it doesn't matter when it comes to Lee, because you can send 2-3 guys after him, and he'll just, I don't know if you guys watch Dragon Ball Z, but he'll just Goku right through that whole line, man. So, he's pretty good at that. So if Lee's healthy, I like him, but that's also why I like a Shaquem. That's what I like about Joe Thomas on film as well. He's a skier as well. He's not a guy that is easy to hit. He plays linebacker like LeVar Arrington, like a running back, where he's not taking on blocks and blowing them up like Jalen Smith does. Jalen Smith will knock you out as a lineman. But what Joe Thomas and those other guys do, they kind of ski through the line. They just use their lateral movement to get under and around blocks without giving up their gap integrity. So I like that about them.
No doubt, man. Voch, what's your thoughts on this, man?
Thoughts on what? I was in the chat box mangling. What's happening?
Oh, no worries. Let's just go over the sponsors right quick for those who made the donation to help grow the nation. I got to reach out to Justin Quarles. He having a conversation for us. Appreciate the donation. He says, will Dallas have the best or the top 3 offensive line this year? Thank you, guys.
If we draft Will Hernandez, we will. Yeah.
Well, I agree.
You break down Will Hernandez, both of you guys, what he will bring to the team, what he would do opposed to a defensive guy, what Will Hernandez would do for this team.
You want to go first, Voch? That's your specialty.
Well, it's two guards that we looking at. That's Wynn and it's Hernandez, and people feel like for some reason just because Wynn is the technical guy that he's soft, or that Hernandez, since he's the nasty guy, that he lacks technique or fluidity or whatever. That's not true. Both of those guys, they have both those things, but Will is an expert at ass whoop. You know what I mean?
Yes, indeed.
Now, even though I like Wynn, more so for a zony, outside, runny, shotgunny, runny type of team.
RPO, yeah.
You know what I mean? We like to impose our will. We like to line up and get nasty. We like to thump. We like to ass whoop. And Ezekiel Elliott is a thumper. Lael Collins, Tyron, all those guys, Zach, they thump. You know what I mean? I want Will Hernandez between Travis and Tyron to impose our will on people. I've said this a million times in the Cowboys community. We ain't drafting a guard. We drafting the offensive identity. And what y'all notice with us imposing, whether it be DeMarco Murray, whether it be Ezekiel Elliott, by the fourth quarter, they don't want to tackle us no more. You know what I mean? By the fourth quarter, we just moving people at will. They tired, they quitting, and we just running people over. That's the brand of football I like, man. Bring in Will Hernandez, you flip all that. You fix all your problems in one go. Sorry, Chaz Green.
The thing that I think comes up, though, when you bring up a Will Hernandez is, one, you got to think about it from a business aspect as well. The Cowboys are going to have a lot of money invested in the line as is, with the Tyron, with Fredericks already. He already has making pretty good money, and they're about to sign Martin to a pretty big deal. So I think their plan, with what they've already picked up in the free agency, their plan is to pay those 3 staples and to rotate guys around those guys. So with Cam Fleming coming in, now I'm not going to say Wynn nor Hernandez is better than a Fleming. I mean, worse than a Fleming, or Fleming is better than those guys, or Marcus Martin, right? But how much better is a rookie Hernandez than a Marcus Martin or a Fleming as of right now? I would give Fleming a C+, B-, and give a Hernandez, as far as potential, A+ potential. But if you already have somebody who can service your line today, you don't need to jump out there at 19 with a stud. You have Marcus Martin, who already can play guard, and he is, I know you know him, Voch. He's a mauler. So he's a guy that we already like. He's a guy that he only knows how to play one way, and that's to, thump going forward. He's not a good pass blocker, Marcus Martin, but he doesn't need to be, because he's between 2 pretty good pass blockers, so they'll cover for him. But what he's good at is when you want to just go forward and maul somebody. That's all he's good at. He can go forward and maul. And then you have Fleming, who's the opposite of him. He's not a good run block. He trips up when it comes to run blocking. He gets there, but he doesn't get to that second level as far as run blocking is concerned. But pass blocking, you can't bull rush him. You can't stun him, as far as the right tackle position anyway, from what I've seen with the last 5 games he played with New England. You can't bull rush him. You're not going to spin on him. He's quick. He's strong. He's a smart dude. And he's from Stanford, so he's smart. And he's a strong guy. If you watch the Miami game, that's the best game to watch against him, because you get a good mixture with Charles Harris, who has good speed and power. You have Wake, who has good speed and power, good with his hands and hand fighting, and Sue, who's just straight power and nastiness. He took on all 3 of those guys and didn't lose one matchup against none of them. So Fleming right now can start at right tackle. And if you're going to say that, then you can say Lael Collins can start at left guard today, or Marcus, or vice versa. Lael at right tackle and Marcus Martin at guard, and Fleming be the swing tackle just in case Tyron goes down again for 2-3 games. You got a guy that can come in there and protect Dak's blind side. So, right now, the pieces that we have on the offensive line, I think we are back to form. Now will Hernandez, add value? Hell yeah, he will. He'll come in and he'll make us better, of course. But is he going to make us so much better that we need to jump out at 19? I don't think so.
I don't want to play Russian roulette with my offensive line because I was raised that it's the only position where you need all 5 guys on the same page in order to pull off the job. You know what I mean? I don't want to play the he's serviceable game because he's in between Travis and Tyron, because we've seen what happens when Chaz Green just fills in. Oh, Chaz will be cool.
No, don't even say that name.
Did they poison Chaz though? Are we all collectively gave up on Chaz? Because was it really Chaz's fault that he's really a tackle?
He came out of college, but what I see on the field, he doesn't need to be in space, man. I think at guard is where you leave him or you don't put him on the field at all. But if from what you just said, though, Voch, just put Collins at guard then. That's not playing roulette. Collins can play the guard. I actually like him at guard. And we know Fleming can play tackle. So that's your 5. That's your starting 5 right there.
Collins can play guard, but he's proven to me by blocking Khalil Mack and blocking Von Miller and blocking what's his first name, Kerrigan. I just leave that dude at right tackle.
But so can Fleming. That's my point. You got both those guys can do it.
I haven't seen Fleming do it. I'm from Missouri. I'm from Missouri when it comes to line, because I need to see them with the star on their helmet. I need to see them do it with the star.
The golden child, the GOAT, man. All that through the last 5 games and through the playoffs, he was protecting the GOAT. Now I won't bring up the play that he got beat on, which is the fumble in the Super Bowl, but he was protecting the GOAT for most of the season.
Blocking for Brady and blocking for Dak Prescott could be 2 different situations. Dak may hold the ball a little longer. Dak may get out that pocket. Brady falls down if he feels anything come to him because he's 43. He got to get his ass down. I feel like if you just leave Leal at right tackle, there's nothing wrong with depth. I like Fleming at right tackle, whatever, cool, but I like him even more at swing tackle. You know what I mean? He's even better as a swing guy. Man, we got this guy that can start as our 6th man. I love that idea. Will Hernandez, you bring him in, you plug him. You ain't even got to teach him nothing. You just teach him, tuck your elbows and keep your hands tight. That's all you got to teach Will Hernandez, and he'll be fine. Now, I just don't like question marks. I feel good about Will Hernandez playing left guard. I don't necessarily feel good about Fleming starting for me. That's my whole deal. That's it. Starting for me.
Well, with that said, our biggest question mark, and I know a lot of our Cowboys fans are going to hate me for this, but our biggest question mark on the offense right now, today, is at our quarterback position, man. Like, will Dak Prescott, look like he did when he was going up against, the run-of-the-mill opposition we were going against in his rookie season? We weren't really going against top-flight defenses that year. And I think the last year when we started to, and it was like a perfect storm because we had injuries on the line as well. But that kind of covered up for some of the discrepancies that we have. So he is a question mark because we don't know. Was his bad year due to the fact that Zeke was going through so much, the offensive line was going through so much? Was that why? And Tony Romo's not in his ear. Was that why? Or is it because he has a lot more growing to do just overall? Or is it a little bit of both? You really don't know.
Hey, before you guys go in, I must say, Jackie just said hello to you guys. So
hey, Miss Jackie.
How you doing, Jackie?
All right, so the question is, the reservation is on this whole entire team as far as it relates to the offense. Is Dak Prescott the key? Voch, take this answer.
Well, I mean, okay, just imagine this, right? Okay, Dak, we want you to be the quarterback or whatever. We're gonna take away 77 and we're gonna take away 21 and whatever else gonna happen. But you still won 9 games for us. You still found you found a way to fight through that. Because I was actually defending that because I did Cowboys film sessions for every game, every weekly. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Now, Dak was a gangster them first 5, 6, 7 games. He was basically carrying the team for us.
Well, that's with the Elliott out there on the field at the same time too. You got
and we're basically banking on Elliott being there when we play this year. You know what I mean? So
that's not Dak being a beast. That's Elliott sort of hiding Dak.
So So be it. Whatever. We know 4 and 21 work together. I'm not necessarily a fan of changing something that I know work. I know if 4 and 21 on the field, we win 13 games. You take away 21, you take away 77. Damn, everything looks different. Now we can evaluate this year. All right, Dak. This is your year where we evaluate Dez, Jason Garrett. This is the year where we evaluate you. Considering nothing catastrophic happens, this is where you make your money. You know what I mean? It's just that when things are one way, I've seen it work. When things are another way, I've seen it not work. This year, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
one of those two things got to happen.
Yeah, I can't really knock your logic there. Like, it makes sense. Like, this for everyone on the team, both from the coaches down to the players. This is a big eval year just for the fact that the Cowboys are cash strapped, so they're not trying to spend money on anything they don't really feel is necessary. So they're going to trim all the fat possible, and I think that even plays in the Dak too. So hopefully, he is, like Denny Green says, hopefully he is what we thought he was, at the end of the day.
So but if what is the expectation? Go ahead.
If I could just pause you for a minute, since we're showing love to the ladies, I almost forgot 23 Beautiful Aries is also in the chat box too. So, hey to her too. All right, go ahead, Law. Say whatever the hell you were saying, which is less important.
Hey. But hey, look at this right here. So we know what Dak Prescott can do out there with Ezekiel Elliott. That's what you have wonderfully lamented. So if we have the fact that we have Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott, what are the expectations of this 2018 season? I do know every day I get Dak hate mail. But what are you guys' expectations? What do you guys want him to do his third year?
I want him to win us a playoff game. And I'm not going to say – I know everybody wants that 6th ring. But from what we've seen in his maturation, I don't see him making those types of throws that would take us there unless we have the Trent Dill. He's the Trent Dilfer of 2018. You know what I'm saying? Where he can dink and dunk us there. I don't see that happening. So us getting through or deep into the playoffs would be a win for all of us. Just for the fact that I don't want to put the Super Bowl jinx on us by saying Dak needs to put that on his back, but he already proved that he can get us to the playoffs. Even last year, he wasn't the sole reason we didn't make it to the playoffs. No one person was. I think it was a little bit of coaching, a little bit of Dez, a little bit of Dak, and a little bit of what's going on with Zeke. So, and then Lee being hurt too. So it was a lot of things that played into us losing that one extra game, depending on which game you choose.
Well, let me ask you this though, and I'm just gonna go back to the quarterbacks that won the Super Bowl. I'm not afraid to put it out there. You got the Joe Flacco's of the world, the Eli Mannings, the Trent Dilfer's, the Brad Johnsons. Is Dak somewhere along of these guys, or he's better than these guys?
I think he has potential. He's right where they are. I don't even think he's. Look, put it this way: he has the potential to be better than those guys.
All right, hold on. If we was to hit the reset button, and if we had a Brad Johnson right now in his prime, or if we had a Joe Flacco in his prime, or if we had a quote unquote a Trent Dilfer,
they're not good comparisons because of the way Dak plays. Like, Dak is a guy where when those guys get in trouble, they look for a check down. They look for another guy to throw to because they can't run. They can't run to save their life. Dak looks to run, especially when he's not confident in his line. He looks to move. He gets jittery. He's going to run. So those guys can't run. What they have to do, they have to either win with their arm or go home. That they know that coming into the game. Defenses know it. Their coaches know it. So they draw up plays a little bit differently for those style players. Now, if you said, Dak.
Hold on before you go further. Is he more of a Dante Culpepper? I'm trying to figure out who is Dak Prescott. Is he more of a Dante Culpepper, a Byron Leftwich? What is he?
Dak, he's a conundrum because Dak, if you watch it, and prove me wrong. Now, when you throw a deep ball over the shoulder, now you can watch any quarterback do it. When they throw a deep ball and it comes over that shoulder, right? That shows that they have the power or the arm strength to put that ball out there and get it over your head where you can catch it over the shoulder. I've been watching. That's all I was doing today, was watching Dak film. I have yet to see a deep ball, 20 or more, not even 20. Let's say 30 or more yards, where he can throw that ball out in front of you, where you can bust a cover 2, or you could take the lid off of a combo bracket defense. You know what I mean? Where you can just split that defense. He can't throw that ball that way. So to say Culpepper can launch that ball. You know?
He did that all.
You know what I'm saying? Dak doesn't have that type of arm unless he's running. When he's running, the only deep balls he's thrown successfully, you have the Arizona game when he threw it to Bryce. He's rolling out of the pocket. He can launch that ball down the field. When he's in the pocket, from the pocket, Dak doesn't have a cannon. He really doesn't. Dak is a good 30, 40-yard down the field passer. And the only way he hits you there is if you can get open instantly. He looks for guys that if you open in the first 2 steps, he can get you that 30, 40-yarder. But after that, it's a late ball. And if it's late, he can't get it 50 yards down the field. He can't do it. Can't. And I'm saying this.
What about this guy? And I know I can get crucified for this, but it's Tom Brady. Is he a guy that can just throw the ball deep down the field where guys can catch?
I'm going to show you tomorrow, man. I'll send it to you first. I'm doing a piece, and I'm not trying to compare Dak to Brady. That would be
right. We both not doing that.
I'm just looking at mechanics, like just quarterback mechanics, just to show you. I don't want to use Romo because everybody's going to think I'm trying to get Romo back here. So I used Brady. I use Carson Palmer. I use quarterbacks that have to throw from the pocket, but don't have what you call a laser
strong arm. Yeah,
they don't have laser cannons. Like they're not like Flacco where they can throw from their knees 70 yards, but they have good enough arms where they they just naturally spit that ball out there without a lot of grit. That kind of grits his teeth, and he's strong, but he doesn't have a natural throwing motion. Whereas Brady to Cooks, you can watch if you guys want to watch something, watch the Oakland game. And just watch Brandon Cooks two bomb highlights and show me any highlights in the last 2 years of Dak doing anything similar. He doesn't have one throw that looks like those throws where he's throwing it out in front of you without you having to dive, spin, do any other moves other than run underneath it and catch that ball. He doesn't do it. He doesn't have it. It is not one highlight. And if you can show me one, that'll be the only one. I haven't seen it.
No. Voch, man, what's your thoughts, man?
I think 29%. And that's a low number, but I mean, y'all have to deal with it. I think 29% of Cowboy fans are smart, rational.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Logically driven.
I'm not hating. I'm just saying you right on that though.
The other 71, corny, fake, stupid, idiot, emotional, falsely driven by whatever it is that they watching on television, whatever media driven peanut gallery situation that they put their faith in. That's what drives them. And let me just filibuster for a minute. We need to understand what Dak Prescott is. You know what I mean? Like he's a 4th round sophomore. He was a 4th round sophomore quarterback. Right. That we're comparing to a quarterback, Tony Romo. That we're comparing a quarterback that was in that system 12 to 13 years.
But he came in swinging though.
He came in swinging, but Dak came in 13 to 3 days. You know what I'm saying? Like Dak swinging too, right? And there's so much. We need to get rid of Dak Prescott. We need to fire Dak Prescott right now. He needs to show me something. How about he learn the game first? How about we just take the bumps? Whenever you draft a young quarterback, it's bumps to be had. And his bumps came with 13-3. His bumps came with 9-7 with everything crumbling around him. I think there's some positivity to be had. Some optimism, pardon me. There's some optimism.
I think he can. He's a quarterback that can win.
100%.
But if you're gonna have a Dak on the team, yeah. And don't hate me for this. We run a vertical offense that requires you to throw the ball deep. Dak is a West Coast quarterback, believe it or not,
and that's fine. We can win ball games like that. We can win ball games like that.
We can, but you have to suit this. You have to change the scheme. You got to stop having Dez run 20, 50-yard routes. Stop having Williams run 50-yard routes when Dak's not going to ever throw the ball out there. Those are just clear out routes because
that's on Scott.
The ball out there anyway. So
that's on Scott. That's on Scott. But Dak has done nothing but showed up, done his job, and did what most rookies don't do. Rookies walk in the league. Dak has walked in the league, and he understands his reads from short to intermediate, and he makes those throws accurately. Not the most accurate in the world, but damn, ain't no quarterback 100%. I just feel like sometimes people can give Dak this hard time as if we drafted him first overall. Dak got all the tools.
Dak's problem is not, and I agree with you as far as where Dak is. That's the reality of the situation. Dak is a sophomore 4th round quarterback, right? But that's not how he's treated, nor is that how he behaves as far as his attitude. So the reason Dak gets that heat is because of the success that he had that first year. He is the guy. Like you said, we're comparing him to Tony Romo, a guy who played for X amount of years. He's the guy that did what Tony Romo did to Drew Bledsoe. Dak did to Tony Romo. He came in, he kind of pushed the old man out and came in with the new. So now the new has to deliver because of the way he came in.
But those same Cowboys fans that want to fire him is the same 71% that was putting him up there with Tom Brady. That's the problem. We're the minority.
Ridiculous.
We're the minority.
He was never there. He was never there. Like even last year, I always said he's a great combo to Zeke, because if you run the RPO with Dak and Zeke on the field, and Dak gets to get a free read, the RPO gives him a free read, because while he's keying in or faking to that running back, he can see his first read without having to worry about a defensive end coming down. He ain't got to worry about getting sacked because he got that first read. It's free. Then he can get to his second read if he pull that ball back. So now he gets 2 reads out of that RPO. So those two playing together with the RPO is great. Dak dropping back 50 times a game and just throwing it is not so great. So, he is exactly where he should be for who he is. But if we were, let me give you an example. Sort of like, remember A Time to Kill? Remember that? Where they had you remember that with Samuel L. Jackson's
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He had to tell the jury, he said, now close your eyes. Now imagine this. So I'm going to give you the same scenario.
Right.
If Dak Prescott was a quarterback that we drafted in the 4th round after Tony Romo retired, the conversation, as far as negative conversation associated with him, would be null and void, because he would be a guy that's coming in playing as well as he is, not a guy that's replacing a guy who was endeared by not only the owner, but all the Cowboy Nation as well. So the guys who come down on Dak Prescott is because of the guy he supplanted. He pushed Romo out the door. So to push Romo out of the door, and then now you have the pressure that Romo had because you're the guy who took his place. You're not the guy who got drafted after Romo couldn't play anymore. You know what I mean?
All I wish is that when Cowboys fans look at the TV, and it's the year 2016, when somebody say, oh, Dak Prescott, he's like Tom Brady. What I wish Cowboy fans would do is look at the TV and go, pump your brakes, fam. That's all I wish we'd do. I wish we would not go, maybe he's like Tom Brady. Maybe he is. Yeah. No, meanwhile, the minority, which is us, the 29%, we're going, I mean, maybe not Tom Brady, but I mean, he's a part of a formula that works. And I think if you are a run-driven offense into where they're going to fill that box to try to take out Zeke, and you have a easier palette in front of you. He's not, look, Dak Prescott will never rip up some type of dime look. That just ain't, he's not that type of dude. The more DBs that you put out, these cover 5, cover 6 looks, Dak ain't gonna do nothing with that. But as long as you got Ezekiel Elliott and you got these cover 0 to 1 looks where everybody's got to be man coverage and we got to fill up the box because we got to stop this run situation. That's where you get value from Dak Prescott. And if that's what we got, that's what we got. Dak ain't got to be Carson Wentz. Dak ain't got to be one of these top-tier, big-armed 4 or 5 running quarterbacks. He ain't got to be that. He just got to be what wins us ball games. And that's who he was in 2016.
But my issue with Dak is not really, I'm one of the guys who's I'm a critic on everybody. Like when it comes to any player, if I watch you on film and the film keep popping out that, you flash on the screen, good or bad, I'm going to come at you. Whether you like we do Chaz Green. If you flashing on the screen and it's always you stinking, then I'm gonna talk about you. If you look good, then I'm gonna talk good about you. That's what it is. I let this film carry me as far as my feelings towards the player. But the reason that gets so much heat from me is because I've been watching film of Beasley. I've been watching film of T. Will. I've been watching film of Dez. I've been watching film of Witten, who's been old for 5 years now. You know what I'm saying? I've been watching film of these guys. And even Dak's first year, all these players were good enough to not only play well, but to get us to 13-3. And years before that, they were good enough to excel, have us, be one of the top rated offenses in the league. So now when you hear the media, they kind of hurt Dak's overall perception, because the media says we need Dak-friendly players or Dak-friendly receivers, or we need to build a team around Dak, as if we're talking about a kid who plays for the Browns who doesn't have, well, even they have weapons now, but a kid who played for the Browns who didn't have anything out there on the field, or a Donovan McNabb who had James Trash out there, to throw the ball to. Dak Prescott doesn't have that type of talent around. He has proven talent around him, but what the Cowboys fans seem to do, which drives me crazy in my comments, is they'll talk about players like Dez or like Beasley or like T. Will, and they'll say when the Hearns comes in, oh, thank God we can get T. Will off the field, or thank God we can get Beasley off the field when a Dante Thompson comes in. And I'm not saying I don't want those guys to do well, but when I watch those guys on film versus what we already have on film, we have players that are open on a regular basis. When you're throwing the ball to Beasley and he's 5'7", and you're throwing it to a guy that's 6'3", you know, what do you want him to do? When you're throwing the ball for a check down to a Zeke Elliott and against Seattle, and you overthrow him by 5 yards, like those aren't Dak unfriendly players. That's Dak not doing what Dak needs to do in those positions or those plays. Now he's not going to make every play. He's not, and I get that. But some plays that he makes, you can't make excuses for and say that the talent around him isn't good because he can't make those plays. You just have to say what we need is not Dak-friendly players, but a Dak-friendly offense.
Well, we heard this friendly stuff talk before. We heard of a quote-unquote, I never heard of a Troy's Aikman friendly. I did heard of a Romo's friendly offense, and let me know if I'm wrong. I heard of a Romo friendly. We saw what happened with Roy Williams was playing for the Detroit Lions. Everybody thought that he can walk on water, and then when he got over here, not calling Roy Williams Dez Bryant, but they couldn't get on the same page no matter what they tried to do.
Right.
And it was just one of those things where it's, hey, time to cut bait, time to move on. And we saw what happened with T.O., the impressions of T.O. It was so overbearing because T.O. had been in the league for so long, and it's just one of those facts. Whereas I would personally think that the Cowboys would have just had that 1 year with T.O. and Dez Bryant together, but they cut T.O. and said, hey, we gotta make moves, and we're gonna get a rookie a wide receiver in the house for Tony Romes, and we saw that growth between Dez Bryant learning and Dez Bryant not running the routes that we want, that Tony Romes wanted him to run,
right.
And we saw that against the Chicago Bears game, we saw it against the New York Jets game, yeah. And one can argue, if you look at every game from that 2010, 2011 season, 10, if one of those two plays were pretty much the quarterback to receiver better, maybe we in the playoff. Who knows, what can happen once you get in. But it's just so much things that you got to have time for the growth of the quarterback to the receiver. And I'll say this. It took time for Dez Bryant to be on that same page with Tony Romes.
That's true.
And a lot of people fail to realize that Dez Bryant is not Megatron. And I love Dez Bryant. He just not that. Now, I did see that you said that Dez Bryant is better than Julio or comparable, a little bit above Julio. And I can say, okay, yeah, I agree with that. But Julio didn't have Tony Romes throwing him the ball too as well, so we got to put that.
Has Matt Ryan thrown him the ball? Who won an MVP? He won an MVP. Romo ain't never done that.
Put it like this: before you start talking numbers on Matt Ryan, to this day, I still take Dak Prescott over Matt Ryan.
Oh man,
and you guys can just go with that from what you want.
Mean, I can't argue. No, I can't agree nor disagree. But what I can say is this: I'm gonna ask you one question, and you can answer however you want. Now, with the moves that we're making and the things that people talking about, cut T. Will, cut Beasley, cut Dez, time for Whitney to retire. Let's see Rico. So what you're saying, essentially, what those people are saying is that a Dak Prescott is worth more than those players that I just mentioned. So let me ask you that: is a Dak Prescott worth a Dez Bryant, a Beasley, a T. Will, and a Witt? Is he worth that? To all my Cowboys fans, to you, Law. Now, if your answer is yes, then there's nothing to even to debate. Then we understand the logic.
Hey, man, don't put me in the box, man.
You know what I mean? So,
hey, but let me ask you this though. Let me counter. Was Tony Romes was he worth more than T.O. at the time? Yeah. I mean, one could argue and lament that was he worth more than Roy Williams, and Al Austin come out of nowhere and say, okay,
you know why
we can finally cut Roy Williams.
The difference between T.O. and Roy Williams, you already mentioned it. Those were not guys that we nurtured in our system and taught the Cowboy way, like a Witten and a Dez. Those were guys that we brought in, and they either sink or swim. You do well here or you don't. Don't really matter. We always do that. We bring in guys like when we did with Deion. We bring in top-notch players, and we get rid of them because we only could pay them but for so long. We don't dedicate our money. We never had since Jerry's been here. We've never dedicated our money to players that we didn't nurture. The only people we pay long term are people that we draft. You know, guys that we bring in, free agents don't last very long here. Not for 10, 15 years. Usually they don't. So with that said, that's the reason they were going to go anyway. So yeah, Romo was always worth more than those guys because we nurtured Romo. Now when Romo came in gunslinging, you know, but we didn't have a guy who had done anything long term for our team. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, like, if I know one thing works, like if you say, hey, you can shoot a mid-range jumper. Let's talk about basketball. And I say, all right, I know he can shoot that mid-range, right? And I know you can shoot. It's not like you forget to do that overnight. You know what I'm saying? So we already know that the players that we have now, they might be one trick, two trick ponies, whatever you want to call them, but we know that what they can do, they can do. Witten, he's a play action tight end and a blocker. That's what he always been. That was the only plays he made this year. Those are the only plays he's been making with Romo. That's what he can do now, right? Dez, he's a fade route, comeback route, dig route, slant route guy. And then if you work those underneath routes enough and you press him, he'll beat you over the top. He's not fast enough to just run right by you, though. So that's how he plays, right? We know he can do that. That's not something that he forgot how to do. And when you watch the film, he's still doing that, you know? So Beasley, he's a inside out guy. He's a guy, you put a guy right up on him and you take inside leverage, he'll burn you outside. You take outside leverage, he's going to burn you inside. You put somebody right over the top, he's going to run straight up at him, and then you're going to go inside or out and still kill him. He's one of those guys, in or out, he's going to kill you. You know, T. Will, he's a guy, you throw him the ball at the 5-yard line, you throw him the ball on a hitch route, you throw him the ball, give him the ball in the reverse. He got good, he a yak man. He's a guy, you give him the ball on a slant, he'll take it all away. He's not a guy that's necessarily going to burn you. But he's a guy that you give him the ball anywhere in the middle of the field, he can slash straight through, and he still can do that. So, like, even Dak's longest play, I think against, I think it was against the Chargers. It was a slant route to T. Will for like 63 yards. I think that's one of his longest plays of the year. You know, other than the 75-yarder that got called back against Arizona to Bryce Butler. Like, that's his longest play of the year. I mean, that's his longest play from the pocket of the year. Period. It was a slant route that T. Will caught at the 10 yards off the ball. You know, 10-yard pass that he turned into 63 yards. That's what he does. You know, so those guys can still do that. To say that those guys are now somehow washed up or not good enough now that Dak is here, I don't think that's not.
Well, let me counter that just a little bit. Let's look at the filthy Philadelphia Eagles. They did the same thing. If you look at what they did collectively as a wide receiving core. I don't know none of their wide receivers done caught over 1,000 yards, but what is a quarterback's best friend? What was Tony Romo's? What was T.O. gripe against Tony Romo's? It was tight end, right? Mm-hmm. So we know for sure, no matter how we look at it, how we look at Jason Witten, I love Jason Witten. Yeah, I promise you, man, if I can get remarried and he can be somewhere close, he'll be my best man at my wedding. He's one of those guys that I'm sitting here saying, okay, he's a pillar of the community. He do all these good things, but for me personally, he's more of a hindrance to this team than what he can help out. Because if you think about this collectively, if you look at Carson Wentz stats, that Zach Ertz and that other guy that was like 6'9", Burton, something like that, I forgot his name, they was tacking the field vertically up the middle, and these were tight ends catching the ball. I don't think that, what's his face, that they even got rid of him. What was the guy that was a speed receiver? I ain't talking about the other guy, the possessive
Burton?
guy. Who?
You talking about
the receiver? We're talking about the wide receiver. Somebody in the chat box put his name down.
Well, what team we talking?
We talking about the filthy. I can't say they real.
Deshaun Jackson.
No, not Deshaun Jackson. They picked up a
Nelson
receiver.
Aguilar.
No, not Nelson Aguilar.
Torrey Smith.
Torrey Smith. If Torrey Smith played for the Dallas Cowboys and we would have won the Super Bowl, he would have a statue outside of the stadium. Yeah, it's one of those things that we coddle our players and we not getting rid of them. It's one of those things where I'm telling you right now, if it was a 7-on-7 and you were to walk outside and you have the choice of picking Jason Witten or the Rico Gathers guy, you're going to look right in your eyes and say, man, I'm getting Rico because I know for sure I'll be able to win with him. I don't think that logically we thinking with this mindset of saying, okay, we can win with Jason Witten, and we trying to force something that's not going to be able to fit.
The thing I'm saying is like that sounds great I like Hannah. I like
Hannah is a 4-4 guy.
yeah, I like Hannah. I like Swain. So I agree with you there. But that's more so the coaching than it is the players. Like Witten being on the team doesn't, I don't think necessarily hinders any other player coming up behind him. But a coach that doesn't understand how to mix in other talent, that's where it becomes a problem. You know, it wasn't a problem when you had Hernandez, rest in peace, and Gronk on the field at the same time. Those are two tight ends right there. You had those two guys on the field; they both were putting up 1,000 yards as tight ends. You know what I mean?
Tight end.
So,
And we did pick it back off of that. That was the whole point of the guy, not Bennett. When they thought about, okay, we're gonna have Witten to capture the underneath, and we're gonna get this other guy, Galvin Escobar, who stretched the field and what have you. He was never put on his team for a run first oriented football team. He was put on his team for Tony Rome to say, okay, he's the guy that's gonna take the field vertically, and we just gonna see what happened with Jason Witten.
But we never mixed it up and did that. So that's more coaching than anything else. But I think Rico is holding Rico back. I don't think it's Witten. Rico would have been on the field this year had he been a little more durable. He reminds me, because of the way he went out, of that kid who kept getting concussions for Green Bay. What's his name? Great tight end, but he just couldn't stay on the field.
Was it Finley?
Finley, Jermichael Finley. He like that. He got all the tools that you would want on the field. Like you said, in a 7-on-7, you're going to pick him every time. But as soon as somebody tap him, he gone. You know what I mean? So Rico was Rico's problem. When Frazier hit him in practice, you know, that knocked him out for the year. Not for a game, not for a week, not for 2 weeks, but for the whole year. So, you know, that says something. You know, I
don't be surprised if the Cowboys try to remake this wide receiving core like they remade the DB core or whatever. So just don't be shocked at that.
I see that happening, but I'm you still gonna go down. You go down fighting just out of sheer, I guess camaraderie and loyalty. But at the same time, I know this is a business. Things are going to change. You know, the game's going to change just naturally due to free agency and salary cap.
Nothing made me more sick last year. I don't even know the name, but nothing made the game it was. Nothing made me more sick last year when like Cole Beasley ran like a reverse or something. He got in open space and got caught from behind. That made me sick because I know Ryan Switzer wouldn't have got caught from behind.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Now Ryan Switzer, I think he was brought in to replace a Cole Beasley when Cole Beasley's contract is up though. Because the way we did our contracts with both Beasley and Williams, it just doesn't benefit us to get rid of them. Now, the two receivers that we brought in, neither of them on film, to me, is better than the Williams. Hearns nor Thompson gives us anything that Williams does. I think Williams by himself is a mixture of both of them. He's a good yards after catch guy like Hearns. And he's a good route runner like Thompson, and he has enough speed to get behind you and threaten you. If he's on the field, you're not saying, hey, we don't got to worry about him getting deep. You know what I mean? He can get up there. Now, I don't know what he's going to do after this foot injury, though. But the way we structured his contract, we can't really cut him, or we would have to trade him or wait for his contract to expire.
So in terms of Hearns versus Williams, who do you like more in terms of like securing the catch?
That's another toss up. Like people talk about Williams' hands, but Hearns ain't as sure-handed either because he's not always open. For everything we say about separation, dude doesn't separate unless he's in the slot. I watched him on NFL Network earlier today. He was talking about most of his highlights you'll see is from the slot, but that's because when you watch him on the outside, watch the Colts game. The Colts they had Darius Butler. And I looked at his best year. I didn't look at his worst because I know he was playing through injuries the last 2 years. But I looked at his best year where he hit 1,000 yards and got paid. The Colts were sitting on him all year. They were sitting on every route, just sitting on him. They don't even do that to Dez. And you can say Dez don't separate, but Dez lost a step. That's true. But the Colts were literally sitting on this guy on his every route. Anything he did underneath, they were jumping it. Vontae Davis and Darius Butler both were jumping every route underneath against Hearns, and that's because he doesn't scare you on the outside. Now on the inside, he's a guy that will take a hit and he's shifty. But as far as playing with a guy that rolls out, when Broyles would improvise, Hearns was always he knows how to get back to the ball. So that's where Dak's going to use Hearns. It's not going to be hey, 3 seconds, I'm open. It's going to be, hey, I need you to extend this play, and what can you do for me? And he's good at that. He's good from the slot as well. He is, and he will take a pop for you. So I don't think he's going to be a bad addition. But as far as shorthandedness, I wouldn't say he's much more. You know, he'll catch it because he's willing to take the hit. But he's not like a guy that's just like doing one-handed acrobatic catches on the Odell level or even a Dez level for that matter. You don't do that. You don't really catch the ball away from his body as well as people try to put it out there that he does. And now that Thompson does though. Thompson catch. I see this dude catching in the snow. You know, falling backwards. You know, one-handed. You know, he can catch. That dude can catch. He's 29, but he can catch.
4-3 guy. Yes, indeed. So with that being said, all right. So we covered a lot of stuff, man, on these wide receiving core. But what is the expectations, man, of Ezekiel Elliott this third year? Any one of you guys can start. What is his expectation?
You go ahead, Voch.
I mean, I don't think there's going to be a lot of disagreeing here. You know, we expect Ezekiel to walk in and do what we expect him to do, whether it'll be his monstrous freshman year or whether it be, you know, I mean, he kind of picked up, and, you know, people want to say what they want to say about the Seattle game. We don't know what shape Zeke was, you know, Zeke was in when he came back, whatever. But we know that he can be a slow starter at times. So, I mean, I'm not even going to put too much into that. But if Zeke can stay out of trouble and stay off of the injury table or whatever, I don't expect Zeke to fall off or nothing like that. I think Zeke will probably be a little better. I think Zeke will play all 16 games. You know, I think the Cowboys have learned that even when you get a certain amount of wins, I think momentum going into the playoffs is a real thing. So, like all that sitting guys at the end of the season, I don't expect the Cowboys to do much of that. So I expect Zeke to come in and, you know, be the best player in fantasy football.
I agree. But Zeke, the Cowboys. I don't want to say Zeke makes me nervous. The Cowboys, our coaching staffs makes me nervous as it pertains to Zeke, because what I don't want to see happen to Zeke is what happens to most running backs who play the way he plays, and that's they get dinged up because we have a bell cow, and because we have a bell cow, we just we keep using it. You know, he's like our our favorite go-to check down to everything. You know, whether we're gonna throw it to Zeke, or we're gonna pass it, or we're gonna run it with Zeke or whatever. But I don't want to see Zeke start running on flat tires by next season because we're giving him the ball, way too much. And if you want, think of your Larry Johnsons of the world, where the 1 year they just kill us, and then, or even DeMarco Murray, we had him. Once his knee kind of went bad, he still can play, but he's just more of a flash of his old self rather than his old self. And I don't want to see that happen to Zeke. So what I would want to see this year, what I expect, I want him to get over 1,000 yards, over 12 touchdowns, or double-digit touchdowns, of course. But I'd like to see him and Rod Smith use more. Rod Smith use a little bit more so that Zeke can get a little bit more of a breather, because I want him for later in the year where we getting into the playoffs, and I want him still healthy and fresh coming in later in the year. So I think if we take a mindset of, and we're not paying Zeke yet, and that's the reason they don't take that approach where it's, hey, let's treat it like it's a brand new car, because they're not paying them like it's a brand new car. But right now, Dak and Zeke, they pretty much let them do whatever they want, because they're not losing that much money if any of them get injured. So I don't want to see them get mauled or beat up. So I want to see them use Jo, so the new guy, or Alawale, find ways to use him a little more creatively. Rod Smith and Zeke. I want to see all of our backs actually being productive on the field, not just waiting for Zeke to be hurt or to be tired to get in there and play. Sort of like you use Freeman and Coleman over in Atlanta, because Coleman actually has sickle cell, so he can't play a full game, because of his condition. And that's the perfect complement to a Freeman. And, Freeman is lights out, but, he gets banged up too. So I don't want to see Zeke become one of those types of guys, because I like the way he plays,
Yeah, some good insights, man. I never knew that. So, I mean, if we look at it, we got the Olawales of the world, we got Rod Smith, and you sprinkle in whoever they may pick up in the draft. I really think that they still might do that. May pick up a John Kelly. Who knows what they do? Or a Mercedes. Not Mercedes. What's the guy name? Played for the Georgia.
Sony Michel.
Sony Michel's, or Naheem. He was on a 30-day visits there. I mean, there's so many variables. I'm going to say when it relates to that, but we'll see when it comes. Any other thoughts on the 30-day visits, guys, that's coming in for this team?
Oh, Sutton, man, that kid Sutton. What's his first name?
Ugh.
Portland.
Ugh.
Sutton. I like that kid, man.
Oh,
I like how he balled, man. Him and Kirk. What?
Christian Kirk. I like Kirk. I like Kirk. But
Him
you
and
can,
Kirk.
you can keep Sutton, but I like Christian Kirk a lot.
Yeah, Sutton is a guy who can he got deceptive speed. Like he doesn't look like he run that fast, but he always seemed because of those long strides, he always seemed to be behind defenses. So I like that about him. He's a guy that reminds me of Martavius Bryant. He reminds me of one of those guys. Good yards after catch and get over the top, but he might be inconsistent at times. But we're not leaning on him to be our number one receiver if we do bring him in. A Kirk either. I don't think we would be looking for him to be our number one guy either. I think he's better out of the slot than anything else. He's a playmaker out of the slot, sort of like a Randall Cobb type guy. He plays like that. So yeah, I like both of those guys. The other kid, what's his name? We didn't bring him in for a 30-day visit though. But
DJ Moore, you got the Mike Gallup, you got
who's the one? Calvin Ridley. That's the one they talking about.
Ridley.
Yeah, Calvin. I like him, but I just don't like receivers in the first round, man. White from Chicago comes to mind. The kid from
who went to the Chargers? What's his name, Voch?
Mike Williams.
Mike Williams.
That's another.
I thought you were gonna say Cortland Sutton looked like Mike Williams, but
Dude,
those guys, when you go first round with a receiver, Ross last year, we don't know what happened to him. The dude that went to Cincinnati, the dude that went to Tennessee, forgot his name too. But those kids, like they come out, but receiver is really, it's like a 30-70 possibility. You got a 30% chance that they come out and ball. The rest of them is on that 70% side. So I really don't care to see a receiver in the first round anyway. So if we can get somebody in second, third, I'll be happy with that. I don't really care to see a receiver in the first. Not saying none of them are going to be good, but you don't find an Odell Beckham every day. You don't find a Dez Bryant or Julio Jones every day. You can't really tell just from a combine. You got to see it. You got to get him because look at Steve Smith. He was a kickoff returner, a punt returner, and he turned out to be who he was. So you never know what you're getting with a receiver until they get in the camp.
Watch, man, what are your thoughts on his receiving draft?
I mean, there are no real number one guys or no real X guys. I mean, it's two guys that could be first receivers. And that's Cortland Sutton could be a number one guy if he fixes his route running, if he fixes his separation type of thing. Yeah. And Equinemius St. Brown, I think he has a little bit of potential to be a number one guy. And I say those two guys because they have size, they can run, they can catch. That's why I say that. Everybody else just kind of has their little flaws as you see it. But there are guys like DJ Chark, who's a body catcher. He can't really separate neither, but he's long and he can run. DJ Moore, it's hard to watch film on DJ Moore because Maryland is so terrible. He's played with 5 quarterbacks, but when you see things go the way that they should go, the quarterbacks make accurate throws, the line holds up and not get destroyed. Right. You see they can run routes. You see he can catch. You see he can separate. He may be a slot guy moving forward in the league or whatever. Christian Kirk, yak guy, you know what I mean? Quick routes, yak guy, secures the catch. Not the greatest super duper hands in the world, but he's a very polished. He probably has the highest floor. His ceiling may not go much higher, but he does have the highest floor in my opinion. That's about all I can give you, man. It's not really any top tier receivers in this class. Go ahead, what you got?
There's one guy that kind of was on the radar before the end of the season. But then once we got to the combine, I don't know, maybe his combine numbers weren't good. I don't even think he came to the combine. But James Washington, man, nobody talks about him at all.
James Washington is like
he might be the class of the draft.
He's Terrence Williams, basically. I think he got a lot of production because Big 12 defenses are terrible, and it's really easy for him to get vertical. So if guys aren't gonna cover him, he's gonna beat guys deep easy, and Mason Rudolph can get that thing down there. So You know, now he's also not a great route runner, but he's really good at what he does. He takes slants and bubbles, and he'll
He reminds me out of the draft. He's the only player out of the draft that reminds me of a Dez Bryant. He's more of a running back that catches the ball. You know, just so happens to catch the ball. He doesn't run routes great. He's not gonna blow by you like you said. He's not a guy that's just, you know, crisp in his route running or anything. But if you get the ball in his hands, he's dangerous, man. And that's against anybody.
He is yak guy, but I think he has great hands though. You know, like he separation, route running, whatever, but he can run and he can catch. You know what I mean? So no, it just
I can't argue. You're right about
we pretty much touched on a lot of things, man, but we didn't touch at all on this front four. What are they going to do with Crawford? What are they going to do with this draft? Or what if the possibility if we're going to get a Vita Vea? There's so many things out there. Maurice Hurst, D-Ron Payne.
I want Harold Landry.
Oh my God! Oh man, break down Harold, man. Break him down for me.
Have you watched my film session on Harold Landry? Because look, this is the one I got pissed off on because people were saying all these peanut gallery type of things about Harold Landry, how he's not strong, how he's too small, he's not good with his hands, he only has one move. False. You know what I mean? Harold Landry probably one of the most, let me say, he is the best pass rusher in this class, in my opinion. Maybe not edge guy, but he is the best pass rusher, in my opinion. But he can play against the run. What he does, man, he has this nuance, man. His hand placement, perfect. Some of the best hand placement I've seen since Von Miller. He knows right where to get you at, and he knows how to manipulate your momentum. He can feel you lean. He knows how to change direction. He knows when to bend. He knows when to dip. He talk about one of the best dips in the class, one of those Kevin Dodd, Vic Beasley type of dips. You know what I mean? Don't listen to what the peanut gallery got to say, man. This ain't just me blowing hot smoke. I got video backing all this up on my channel.
Oh, no, you 100%. Like his dip is, you know, I think he was playing Wake Forest.
Ridiculous.
Wake Forest. He ducked right under a guy. Like, you know, he good with that. His bend is crazy, but.
And let me just tell y'all something real fast. I'm gonna let you go. This is something that the peanut gallery not gonna tell you because they don't really know football. Some people think he dips slow really well because he dips slow. What he does, if you watch a little bit of film, it's on my channel. He'll attack you high.
Yep.
To make your hands attack high. Then he dips
I love how you watch film, bro. I love how you watch film.
Then he dips low under your hands.
Yep.
So, when you watch guys like Lawrence Taylor, sometimes he wouldn't just beat you flat out. He'll set you up for 5 plays later down the line. Yep. So what he'll do is okay, let me get you this. Let me get you this. Oh, you think about to beat you fast? Let me set you up so I can bull rush you. I may not be stronger than you, but if you think I'm rushing fast,
I get you off balance, you're done.
I can get you off balance. And when he'll get his hands high to get your hands high. He'll dip right up under your hands, man. Watch my film on Harold Landry. It'll open your eyes.
But no, I don't even gotta watch it, man. I know you know what you're talking. Cause I watched him. I know you know what you're talking about just from what you just said right there. Because he's not a guy that he's not going to impose his will on you. He outthinks you out there. He gets you. He like a keto. Like if you say you're using momentum against yourself, he's like a keto. If he were one word, he would be a keto. You know what I'm saying?
He just knows how to do it. There are some guys that There are some guys that are big that doesn't know how to do it. I would rather take the guy that knows how to do it because peep this out. Coming out into the draft, and like I put all this in my video, I'm just plugging myself. Yes, he can play 3-4 linebacker because he was the same size, speed, and almost measurables as Von Miller. But DeMarcus Lawrence had all the same measurables as far as size, 40 time cone drill, arm length, hands. He got the same type of measurables. Put him in your strength and conditioning program. Give him a few samples. He'll grow.
Do you think if we actually do? I know they've been talking about it. But if we actually do get Gregory back, do you think we still need a Harold on the team?
We just saw the Eagles win a Super Bowl with depth at pass rush. You know what I mean? So what? And look, the only thing that can neutralize good pass rush is tired pass rushers. You know what I mean? So you know, you may want to do something filthy like put Lawrence or Taco at 3 tech, let Irvin run the 1 and put your 2 fast guys outside.
That's why I'm asking you that because I'm asking like, do you think like we have Crawford who's a tweener, we have Collins who really is an inside guy, and you have Irvin who's a tweener, you have Tapper, who's a tweener, We have a bunch of guys who you could put them inside occasionally, but they're not staples inside. So when you say that, like just to keep guys off of our linebackers and to play better in the run fronts, do you think we need more so a defensive tackle now, more so than like a Vita Vea or a Harris, or even a kid from Alabama?
Payne. Luckily, this happens to be a defensive line, a defensive tackle. Pardon me, a deep defensive tackle class. You got plenty guys.
You can go third round and still get a great one, yeah.
Right, you got Harrison Phillips, you got Taven Bryan, you got B.J. Hill, Justin Jones, you got guys you can go get late and fill them in, and they'll do the job you want them to do. Now the difference is Vita Vea is 320, he's super strong, and he can run fast. These guys may not be able to run fast at their size, you know what I mean? But you can get a guy like Tim Settle, Derek Noddy, Rasheem Green, Poona Ford that can fit that mold for you and get upfield just to let Malik Collins catch a breath, just to let David Irvin catch a breath. Then they come back in and do what they want to do. You know what I mean?
I like taking a big guy like a Vita Vea or any of the guys you just named, as long as they can take up space, and moving Irvin outside and having that be our starting four. Collins next to another big body, Irvin on either side, and Law on either side. You know what I mean? And then after that, you got Crawford if we wind up keeping him, or if he don't become a cap casualty. Crawford, and then you have Tapper if he's healthy. Hopefully Gregory back. That's a good 3 rotation right there. And then you got Taco. I haven't even said Taco's name, but honestly, I'm not big on Taco, but I haven't said his name for that reason. But even him out there, that we have a second with addition of one defensive tackle, we would have a whole second defensive line that could be a starting line for anyone else.
Taco's gonna be fine. He's gonna be on. He's gonna be a rotational bench guy for his stint as a Dallas Cowboy. But that's okay though. That doesn't mean he's bad. It'd
be like Brandon Graham for the
Brandon Graham. Because look, Brandon Graham ain't get good till like last year. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. People forget that. You know what I mean? So just give Taco time to grow and develop, and he'll be fine. Yeah, but, release guys like Benson Mayo. You know what I mean? Whatever. If you bring Gregory back and you sign Harold Landry, we don't know if DeMarcus Lawrence is going to have another good year. He may get hurt. We don't know if we may let go of one of these other guys. Randy Gregory may go back to the weed. I don't know. I just think with pass rushers, with offensive linemen, with cornerbacks, get them all in a room and just cut the bottom ones. And that's just how we got to run it.
You're right about that. Can't argue.
Law, cut your mic back on, man.
Yeah, man. I'm just sitting there laughing, man. I had to go. But, man, that was so funny, man, when you said about Randy Gregory with the weed situation. Yeah.
but stay off it, though. That boy can play. That boy can play. Now, don't get it. Now, that 71% of Cowboys fans, for some reason, forgot that Randy Gregory is still the best edge rusher on this team. That's still a top 5 pick.
Today.
That's still a top 5 pick. That man just smoked. Well, whatever.
Man, love that weed, man. Looking like Samuel L. Jackson out there.
Oh God.
But so we covered cornerback, defensive back, linebacker, offensive line, defense. Hey, what else we need to cover? What special teams? Are you guys still set on Dan Bailey?
Oh yeah, man. Dan
the money man Bailey. It was just a little snap up.
You know something I hate, man? Whether it be Vanderjagt, whether it be Grammatica, these kickers always come to us, do great for 3 years, and just fail us when we need them. I don't know, man.
I don't even know how Dan Bailey got hurt, man. Like, you a kicker. Kicker. That's the most non-contact position on the field, and you still
nobody hit you. It ain't like somebody blocked the kick and just rolled on his leg.
Right. That I can take. Are you came down the field on the kickoff and you kind of got banged up making a tackle or something?
It's just that one day he just woke up hurt.
Hey, my guy in the chat box, Victor Baker, said, what about now cover the coaching staff, man? Anybody have reservations on that?
We need a whole nother show for that. I got a lot to say about that, man. I'll rip our coaches. They might think I'm a double agent. I start talking about our coaches.
Oh, man.
I'm just going to simply say this is the year where you make that decision. That's all. Whatever the results of this year is how you make.
Yeah, that's the best way. That's as far as like what we do with them. As far as their tendencies are concerned, I think a lot of people say things about Linehan not being creative. That's what you hear a lot of. We lost. I forgot who our offensive line coach was. He got fired due to the fact that he couldn't do anything.
Frank Pollard.
Yeah, due to that Atlanta game. But as far as Linehan is concerned, I think he hasn't been as creative as we'd like him to be because of execution. I don't really think it's because of mindset. Like they say he doesn't move Dez around. He did move Dez around. He said he doesn't, draw up plays a certain way. But when you have pockets collapsing, when you have players that are injured on an offensive line, when you have inaccuracy or inconsistent quarterback play, we have inconsistent wide receiver play, plays that get drawn up that would be great or that would extend drive. So you could, it's sort of like being an offensive coordinator is like playing chess or like being a boxer. It's sort of like that Von Miller analogy you just used, Voch, where you set, or Lawrence Taylor, where you say you're setting people up for 5 plays in advance. When you come out with a certain package, you might throw to the left just so you can open up or get a look that you want 2 plays later. But you don't get there if you get an interception or if that first play doesn't execute properly and now you're in 3rd and 10. Now it's like, hey, let's just figure out whatever we can do to get it back to 1st and 10. You know what I mean? So I think our inconsistency was all around the board. I think our players not executing the plays properly kind of led to us thinking that our coaching staff is just trash. Now that's from a specialty standpoint, like our offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator mindset. I think I like our offensive coordinator and I like our defensive coordinator. We put up 30 points a game with Dak Prescott. We put up 30 points a game. That's not an easy task for any team to do, And then we were the eighth against the run and 11th overall defense. So Rob Marinelli, I don't got a problem with Rob. My issue comes in with crucial decision making at certain points in the game or certain game planning. And I don't know who's doing that. I don't know if that's Jerry coming down and say you better use Zeke for these series, or you better throw the ball to Dez, or I don't know if it's Clapstar, Jason Garrett. I don't know if it's Jason Garrett saying that. I don't know who's actually making that decision. So it's kind of hard with the Cowboys coaching staff to pinpoint who the problem is. You can pinpoint who the problem is against Atlanta when Chaz Green can't play. That's offensive line coach. That. But when it comes to play calling or situational football, in those situations, you've seen Jerry Jones come down out of the box and come down on the sideline and start talking, right? So you never know who's making decisions in key moments in each game. You don't really know. So I don't really know how to evaluate a coaching staff like that as from a head coaching standpoint, because Jason Garrett could be an idiot or he could be great. That just a guy that's handcuffed. You never know.
Yeah, and the only thing we can lean on is past history, right? And it's an even year for Jason Garrett, and on his even years, he tends to win, and that's the only thing that I can think of. I really can't evaluate this at all, too, as well, because we really don't know. You did mention earlier that Scott Linehan is a vertical guy, and thinking about it, he had guys that had strong arms. Stafford, he had Culpepper, I think, when he was with Minnesota. Romo for that little small stint, right, from 2014.
Yeah,
and that's it pretty much. Because
you the one that got that paid, I think, man.
Yeah, so I mean, he had guys with strong arms. So this is the first time with a guy that's going to pretty much methodically move the ball down the field. And there's nothing wrong with that, guys. Think about the Joe Montanas of the world. I don't know if people can go back into the mental mindset. Watching Joe wasn't the guy.
When you watch a guy who like, and you're going to watch him because I'm going to put it out there. But when you watch a guy who makes beautiful moves, like you see Terrence Williams will make a move and you be running up the field just like this. And it's not like Dak doesn't see him. Sometimes Dak don't look up the field, though, but it's not like he don't see him. It's just I don't think Dak has the confidence that when he sees a open guy that he can just instantly, just let it go. He can't do that. To get it there, he can get it out there if he charges up, takes 2 steps, and throws it. But by the time he recognizes the rush is already there, he got to release that ball. So he always goes to a check down guy immediately, and that's what.
Now let me ask you this: Peyton Manning didn't have the strongest arm. Now, you might have put him into the mix too as well, but he was cerebral. He was the guy that methodically moved the ball. Because Peyton Manning arm was weak, especially even when he won the Super Bowl. That ball was like,
But in moments where he needs to, I've seen Peyton Manning put the ball over your shoulder to get it out in front of you, though. I've seen him do it. Now, he can't keep doing it. He's not a guy that's gonna sit there and just keep launching it. He got like he had an arm that's like more deliberate. You know, he has to deliberately put that ball out there, you know, and put some effort into it. He's not Chad Pennington with the ball, though. You know, he's not a guy just with a water pistol.
Now, before we go further, I'm gonna let people know because you do have that 1 to 2%. I'm not calling Dak Prescott, Peyton Manning. I'm not calling.
Oh, yeah, you gotta say that.
Yeah, I gotta say that because
79%, Law. You one of them 79%.
I'm not. Oh man, Law out here saying that Dak Prescott is Peyton Manning. You know, but his running record percentages is better in his
first 2 years.
You know,
for sure.
No one circles the wagon, right?
Yeah, but I think you're right about that. Like, it's just. I don't know about him being able to, like, in moments where you need to get that ball out there, man, you need to get that ball out there. I mean, that's what you play quarterback for. If that was the case, we say, you know, Dez might throw the ball pretty good too, you know, 15, 20 yards down the field. Who cares? That's not what we're paying you for. We're paying you to get that ball out there. When you see a guy take the top off of defense, get him the ball. When you see a guy cut a guy out of his shoes and they on the ground, find them and get him the ball. That's what you get paid the big bucks for. That's why they own, you know, yogurt commercials, car commercials. That's why they get the $100 million contracts. That's why I do like Kirk Cousins can go to Minnesota and get $84 million guaranteed for 3 years of football, because their job is to recognize those openings and get them the ball. So
let me say this too as well for the stat patrol, the stat munchers and stuff like that. Kirk Cousins never won over 9 games. And then on top of that, Kirk Cousins never really beat Dak Prescott.
No.
But you may continue.
I'm saying you're 100% right about it.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that we get so fixated, and I'm not talking about you on this. I'm talking about the collective football people that what you call these people that say, oh man, he can throw the ball down the field. But look at that.
A Kurt over Dak scenario. My scenario is just quarterback in the quarterback position in general. I don't even like Alex Smith nor Kirk Cousins, to be honest with you. But the quarterback position, your job is to find the open man, regardless of where he is down in distance, and get him the ball. You know, you can't draw plays where, unless it's just straight up West Coast or RPO, you can't do or Wildcat. You ain't gonna draw plays where no receiver goes no more than 10 yards. Because Dak likes to throw. You see how Dez throw a diamond all the time? That's how Dak likes to throw. You remember when you first go off to college, they tell you sit in the diamond or sit in the T, where you sit like in the middle row or in the front row, right? Dak likes to throw right here. So if he's my thumbs, when my thumbs meet, you know, most quarterbacks see a field this way where they're looking from middle out, right? Or left to right, right to left. Dak looks at it like a diamond. If you're not right up the middle, where that's why he's good at throwing slants, dig routes, you know what I'm saying? Or he'll throw a hitch route to you, comeback routes. But as you get outside of this diamond, you mean deep right, deep left, that can't hit the side of a barn from there. Now in here, he's solid. Outside that diamond, Dak, and watch it. You know, everything I say to anybody who doesn't know me or don't know how I am, I don't just talk trash about anybody. Anything I'm saying, please go get Game Pass or go get the film and prove it to me. Prove me wrong, because I know I'm not wrong. Dak, when he throw, and I'm not just talking about today, when he throwing a T-Will, Beasley, even Witten. I got a couple of film with Witten against Seattle. He threw the same play twice. He threw an out route. Witten was getting covered by Griffin, Shaquem's brother, Shaquille Griffin. He was getting covered by him on the out route. The first time he threw it to Witten, he threw it at his ankle. Witten look up, put his hands up, like, and they did the same route right behind that. Next time he threw it to Witten, he threw it to him. Witten had to catch the ball out of bounds. So it's like anything outside of this diamond here, Dak, he'll double pat the ball because he'll see it, but he don't trust his arm and he don't trust what he sees. So he hesitates, and the ball wind up either being late or off target. When he throws it deep, he puts so much energy into the throw, like he's throwing almost like you throw a baseball that way or softball or something. He puts so much energy into the throw that he can't control where the throw goes. So it's in the general area, but it don't get right on you, and it's not like in a place where it's some touch where you can run right up under it. So you don't know what kind of ball you're going to get, which makes receivers do this. They watch, and then they try to adjust while they're trying to run at the same time. So you get receivers like, look at Bryce Butler or their deep routes. Most of the time he's turning around and catching it just like this, jumping. That's not a deep ball. That's a jump ball. Deep balls are like this. You're throwing it over your shoulder and I'm running up under it.
Let me ask you this though. You got some good analogies and good points on this, and then we can say this right here. Eli Manning. If look, I'm not saying that the receiver can elevate the quarterback or the quarterback can elevate Eli Manning. Look, come on, man. How do Eli Manning manage to make it? Break Eli's down. What is it? Now, I know Voch saying scrub, but if you was to have a choice to pick between Eli Manning in his prime, whenever it is, and Dak Prescott, who would you trust and why?
Now, I don't want to answer that because you know, Cowboys,
you bet that, boy. You bet that.
I bet that. Listen,
Eli.
I'm not gonna fall for that one, Law. I'm gonna tell you one thing Eli does with dudes like Plexico Burris, with dudes like Hakeem Nicks. Once he figures out what type of reads work well with you, like once he understands how you play, he will keep giving you your sweet spot. He said, "Oh, you like this type of ball? I'm gonna keep giving you that fade route." Then, when he had Plexico Burris, all Plexico told him to do, if I'm running, and Plexico said this, if you can find the interview, he says, when I'm running in a general direction, so if he got what you call a stat coverage where a DB is right over the top of you, right? You don't throw at him, don't throw at him, throw it in, you throw him open, so to speak.
Renee Collier in the comments say, Jackie, why you keep talking about Tony Romo? Dak is trash. And Jackie said, Renee, you trash.
Yeah, to get him.
I mean, I know people, man. They fall in love with Tony Romo, man, and I love Tony Romo too as well. But man, you would think that we had Joe Montana out of Tony Romo, man. And people fail to realize. Now, I do know for a fact that a lot of people going to say, well, hey, if Tony Romo had this and Tony Romo would have had that. But guys, man, that ship and gone, man.
Oh, no, that ship is gone. But
Candace not going to let him go play nowhere.
Romo would have went 13-3 with the same team last year, though. I do believe. I don't think he.
I mean, will he survive the Denver game when Von Miller came across?
Not 2017 Romo. I'm talking about 2016. If Romo wouldn't have got hurt in the preseason, I don't think
survived that Ravens. You saw that hit that Ravens guy came across that edge and laid Dak Prescott out, and everybody like, oh Lord.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. You know what play I'm talking about? I can't recall the guy that hit him.
That against Seattle. Well, Seattle laid him out. I didn't see the Ravens. Well, that was I gotta go back. That's
Ravens. Yeah, 2016. I'm talking about like, my God.
I saw Seattle laid him out this year where he laid on his stomach. I said, oh man, he looked like he hurt, and he popped right up. So yeah, he a tough kid because he's young. So yeah, apples to apples. Yeah, I mean, you do want a young buck that's as strong as Dak is swole, man. He's strong too. So I don't think he's gonna have any durability issues. But you know, durability is not the only thing that's gonna win you a championship. It's like your decision making. Dak throws at the receiver. He don't lead anybody. If he gonna hit you where you at. So if he see you wherever he see you at when you're open, that's where he's throwing the ball. He's not throwing it to lead you anywhere. He's not that type of guy yet. Even when he throw the deep ball, he throwing it where he saw you, where he let that ball go. That's where the ball going. It's not going where you're going. It's going where you were, you know, and that's not good.
Yo, real fast though, Law, because I got to bounce. It's been real. Appreciate you for having me, Mr. AKOYE. Nice to meet you. Follow me on Twitter so I can follow you back or something.
I got you on Twitter. I already follow you on YouTube. I definitely got to get you on Twitter. I already subbed up though.
Show enough. We got to run this again. But before I leave, though, y'all be sure to go watch that Isaiah Wynn and that damn Harold Landry video because I was in my bag, and I think people need to be woke about those two prospects.
Hey, open my eyes when you talk about that, bro.
Hey, you got some good stuff on there, man.
You know, I can tell that we cut from the same film cloth almost. So you know what I'm saying? Salute to that. So y'all look me up on YouTube and on Twitter, Voch Lombardi, VOCHLOMBARDI. And join my Facebook group, Lombardi's Draft Talk. I'm gonna be in Dallas with all the Cowboy YouTube big heads, man. So salute to all y'all for having me, man. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Hey, before you go, man, I got to give you one thought on this before you run, man. Just one thought on this. What the hell did the Patriots just did, you know, with the Cooks? I know you know about it.
Yeah.
As quick as possible.
They got back a first round pick to get a receiver that they could have drafted. So, you know, Rams kind of, you know, gave up their first round pick for Brandon Cooks. I'm not a huge Brandon Cooks fan. He's a productive player. I think he's replaceable, but salute to the Patriots. So they got 2 first round picks, 2 seconds, and they got a third within the top 100. So
yes, indeed, man. Salute to you, brother. All right, so AKOYE, man, where can they find you at, man, and where can they see you at and all this good stuff?
Well, as you guys know, you can follow me on Twitter at AKOYE Media. Same thing with YouTube, and that's AKOYE Media on YouTube. I also have a Facebook page that I have to start manning a little bit more effectively. I'm gonna start using Facebook more, but you can catch me there. And then on a personal level, you can follow me on Instagram, and that's at IAM_AKOYE as well. But you know, I definitely am gonna keep doing this, so you know, you guys will get more content as we move forward, especially when we get into the regular season, and I can't wait.
Yes, indeed, man. That is fantastic, man. You got some good stuff out there, good insight, fresh looking content for those who out there who need to know and follow Cowboys content. Go and follow his page. I'm talking about the man, hand down, is like one of the best already in the game, and I really like his content, guys. And like I say, I'm always going to say that just because people have different views, different opinions, different thought tracks on the Cowboys, we still love this team that's on my head. You see, regardless of the situation, whether you team Dak Prescott or whether you team Tony Romes or whether you hate Jason Garrett. But at the end of the day, if you don't cry, if you don't punch holes in the walls because we lost, I don't want you to follow me. I don't want you to follow this page because that's how much I love my Cowboys. I love this team to the core. And at the end of the day, I want what's best for the Cowboys. I want what's best for the team. And I've been saying it for years, man. We're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm always having that mindset, that mind thought track that, hey, we're going to win it. We in it to win it. Damn it, come hell and high waters. If I can get out there on the field and run routes, I would try to do it. If I could try to block somebody at my 195 pounds, I'll try to do that too as well. But it's not going to happen. We understand that. But collectively, those convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. We not trying to change nobody's mindset, but if you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time and your peace and your sleep for it, if damn it, come hell and high water, if that's all you dream and scheme for it. And I'm telling you right now, with the Cowboys Nation on my back and on everybody's shoulders out here, continue to watch this channel, continue to subscribe to Voch Lombardi, AKOYE, Mark Holmes, regardless of what everybody have opinions of Joe Boo, because you know Joe Boo still spreading the mojo. You guys go follow those pages. Did I say the Dallas Prospect and Silver and Blue Nation? Follow those pages too as well. That's all the time I have for today, and I thank you guys for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Salute. We out. Peace.